So simple, just take a shot of your coil pot and submit that to the assignment. I put it due today. You know, it's really simple. You can do it during class. Just make sure you're getting that progress in. So I know, you know, how everybody is going along. So then over here, I want to go to YouTube. You know, on YouTube, you know, YouTube is just amazing amount of information that is on there. And then remember, with these recordings for class, I am putting them all up on YouTube. So let me see if this is here. Oh, I wanted to show you this. Yes, here we go. It's certainly not in English, but it's a quick video of the scraffito process. So they call it engobe, which is the same word for slip. And then she's got these beautiful scraffito tools. So you can see she's just kind of freehanding the drawing.
Miss Small, we can't see the video.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for letting me know because I didn't share my screen.
Yeah, I was like, are we just supposed to be listening to it or?
A little Coldplay for you. I'm sorry. Bad of me. Here we go. Let me go to share my screen. There we go. Here, share, and then I'm going to just back this up a little bit. Now you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So they said they call it engobe, like I said before, but it's also a slip. That's what we have. And she's clearly just freehanding this this piece. So she's drawn these like flower shapes. Notice she's using like a needle tool, or maybe it's a little bit thicker. What she's using looks like dentist tools, and I always ask my dentist to give me tools. So it's through the whole process. You know, there's the piece after she's drawn on it. And then I don't know what language this is, but she's picking glazes to put on top of it. So she's glazed each piece individually. That's why it doesn't look just black and white. And firing it, and then it comes up like that. So that's a cute little, you know, easy thing to do. And then the other one I wanted to show you is, I thought I had saved it. Here it is.
This is the checkers game where grandson and
So I'm
granddad
gonna skip through this, and I'm gonna skip back a little bit to get just to the scraffito part, because he shows about making his plate, and so that's all thrown on the wheel.
So slowly a little bit of time, and this is the scariest part because you just, once I get to the spot I want, smooth down.
So he's made this beautiful plate on the potter's wheel.
All the way through. Then I'll let it dry. Now, once it dries to, you know, a leather hard stage where it's not tacky anymore, this is where I'll come back and I'll put my glaze on. So I'm using Amico's liquid underglaze here, black. They also have the velvet underglaze. I like the liquid one. It goes on a bit smoother. They both become black at the end. So I'll just go ahead and put a nice thick coat on here.
So that's the same thing as what you would
I don't put two coats on. One seems to do it fine for me.
Do
And then once the bottom becomes leather hard,
With your
I'll
slip.
turn the whole thing over. And because this platter is so big, I've made this separate little bat that's pretty giant that all my stuff will fit on here. So normally I trim on a Geffen grip, but
All right, and then just go through
creep
here
up on that depth.
and get to the part where he
Since
starts to
it's smooth,
carve.
it's time to
There we go.
mostly dry. If you try to do this while the clay or the glaze is still wet, it's just going to stick in it and it's just going to make a giant mess. And normally I would do all these carvings, these circles, while the plate is on the wheel, but I thought I'd try to show a better view on camera here. So I've just got this on one of my little hand spin wheels here. So I like to divide up my plates, since they're circular anyway, into different rings and try to do different designs within the different rings. So this first design I'm doing that's in the middle here is simply 3 lines going in random directions. And if you've ever looked on Pinterest or in books, there's a whole bunch of artwork on Zentangles, which I did some paintings in the past that you just make little patterns and designs and kind of fill up spaces. And I did a lot of those and found a lot of inspiration from that to put in these little scraffito works. It seems to cross over really well. So in this section, just 3 lines in random directions, and it kind of makes a cool design. The next section, I had this really cool idea of doing circles that are connected by lines. So I started using this little drill bit that makes the circle designs, and I found that it just was kind of mushing the clay instead of moving the clay out of the way. So I just switched over to a little hand tool that's basically a needle tool with a ball on the end. So I just went through and hand drew these circles, which they're pretty amazing. You gotta admit, this is pretty good hand circle work. So made a whole bunch of circles. Then I just started going through and randomly connecting circles to each other and then off the little pattern as well. And it kind of gives it like, I like to call it kind of a molecular look. I don't know. Looks like molecule chains coming together. It's kind of a cool design. And then for the final ring, I'm going to make one more circle because I want to separate out a last section. And then I'm just going to do lines, like a little starburst pattern. This is really easy to do, and it fills up the space and makes for a really interesting design. Let's kind of finish it off. And then I'm going to glaze this, the outside of this, once this has been bisque fired. I typically use Obsidian, which is on the Celadon series of Amico glazes. Obsidian's a nice, really deep, dark black, and it's
All right,
smooth
I'm
every
just going
single
to
time. So
fast
I'll use
forward to
Obsidian
the end. There we
on
go.
the outside instead of using underglaze. And once that's done,
So this
I
is
just get
putting
the
on
underglaze
clear
side of it,
glaze. So
nice
hopefully
clear
you
gloss
guys will
coat,
get to do
3 coats of
this.
each. You get a really cool look. It's kind of terrifying to paint over your design and see it disappear, but it all comes back. There it is. So you can see how the white really pops against the black, makes for a nice shine. Once you put that clear gloss on top of the black underglaze, it really darkens it up and it matches the Celadon on the other side. So it's like a perfect match. And I really like the way this design looked. The patterns are really unique. Design's really interesting. I could see this being a nice centerpiece on a table or even on a wall somewhere. I've had people hang these up on walls before. They look really good. So if you like watching these,
All right.
hang these up on walls before, they look
So,
really good. So
you know, both of these were, these people were really doing this kind of freehand, just going at it. So you guys, you know, I had you guys doing a design, and you know, if your design changes, I get that, because as you're working along, I get that sometimes things change. I haven't even begun to think about what I want to put on this piece. I'm probably going to work this way, put it upside down so that I can work on the outside pretty easily and see it easily. If I do make a mistake, like there's a little bump right here that I'm messing with, and it's taking some of that color away, I can just simply take my brush and cover that up again. So you guys should have tools that are like probably close to this that I sent home with you. You may have a needle tool as well. Needle tools are a little hard to use because they're so slight of a line. So if you're doing little lines, that's awesome. I'm also probably going to use this tool, which will give me a thicker line. And if I can do this, I'm going to try and just do this. I think I'm going to do horizontal stripes. So I'm going to use this tool and carve straight down. So you want to be as exacting as you possibly can At this point, I might now go ahead and like kind of figure out how many stripes I'm gonna have all the way around so I don't get to this side and, you know, not have an equal amount of space. I can do that simply by eyeing it maybe, or I can measure it. And I did mean to bring my tape measure down. So I would do that before I continue to draw these lines with this tool. You can see how it's a little bit thicker than if I used a needle tool. You can see how little that, if you can even see that little needle tool line, which I'm just going to erase really. And I have this side of a tool. Some of you may have tools that look like this because I have all these different tools at school, and when I handed them out, some of them had to be a little bit different. So this is going to give you a bigger line as well. So I could carve in here, if you can see that. So that's going to carve through there. So you can see the difference in the thickness of the line between this tool and this tool. So then I also have, a lot of you have this little hook tool. So that might go in and be even a smaller line. And you want to definitely carve in deep enough so that you are able to see the lines. So with this tool, I did not carve in deep enough because I don't know that I want to commit to this, but I think I am. So if you can see, that is the beginning of my carving. So how are you guys doing with this? Are things going along okay? Are you having problems with it?
The top part of mine kind of cracks, so I have to like fix it.
Okay, so make sure that you're using water. And the other thing you can do is, if it cracked, you can add clay to that by scoring and putting the clay in there. So that might help with your cracks. In addition to that, if it's cracking, you may want to make sure you're keeping it covered and make sure that you are, you know, kind of managing that moisture control, especially in the areas that are being cracked. The other thing is, at school, I don't know if you guys remember, but for things that are kind of dry or whatever, I often use vinegar. So there's like an enzyme in vinegar that acts with clay that is almost like super glue. So if you just mix a little vinegar with water and you use that instead of water, so say I wanted to add something to this part of my pot right now and it's a little hard, I would score, use that vinegar, and then add that clay to it. And sometimes the vinegar really helps, especially like with cracking. And if you're adding clay to kind of conceal those cracks or fill in those cracks, the vinegar might help stop the cracking a little bit. So usually everybody has vinegar at home. It'll just smell like you're eating a salad. So everybody else good?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we look towards next week of these being done Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can just, I don't know about everybody else.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say Wednesday. I know that we're not supposed to do any new work, so this certainly isn't new work, but I'm going to put it as a deadline on Wednesday. Of course, if you're needing more time, let me know. Let me know your trials and troubles. And, you know, I'm not the meanest teacher in the world. So I guess from here, what I'm going to do is continue to work on this piece. Hopefully you guys are working on your piece as well. Yeah, Amaya, I saw all of the stuff that you put in, so I think I got to grading that. So, yep. Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I got your claymation and a couple of other assignments that I got that I just did during my lunch break or breakfast break. All right, so again, I'm going to continue working on this. I'm going to run upstairs real quick, get my tape measure so I can measure around here and try and do even lines all the way around the side of my pot. I'm also going to get something for it to sit on other than this wood, so I'm not ruining.
Wait, Miss Small, I have another question.
Okay.
So like cause like when you're drawing, like if you make a mistake, like what are you gonna do?
Oh, what am I gonna do? Let me get something real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a brush. All right, so say for instance, I'm gonna move this down. Say for instance, these lines right here, I don't want. Kind of would take my finger, do a little smoothing of that, and then grab the slip and paint right over that. Now I'm going to see those lines a little bit, and that's why you want to do a little bit of smoothing so I can kind of still see them. I bet you guys can't. I can still see those lines, but once I do my carving, I'm completely able to, I'm sure they won't stand out like I feel like they're standing out right now. The other thing is if your paper, plastic, makes marks or something that you don't want, it's taken away some of the color, you can completely put that back. It doesn't have to be, like right here, I skipped this part. So I'm just gonna cover that up. And you can do this anytime, even when it starts to get dry, you can reapply the slip. I'm also gonna do it right here. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Good. All right. So I am running upstairs real quick to get my tape measure. I'll be right back. One thing I was thinking of that I wanted to say is I know you have limited tools, so just do the best that you can as far as varying the thickness of line. And you guys should know what I mean by that. I say it all the time. So like I said, I've got a thick one here. I might have some thin ones. So oops, just make sure you're playing with the thickness of the line so that it's not the same line over and over again. So I am going to figure out this. approximately inches. Okay. So I think I'm going to put them an inch apart. I'm going to make a mark where I want them. So a little bit of planning ahead, a little bit of precision is a good thing. All right. I check the ones. I check. Wait a minute. What are you saying there, Amaya? Oh, just. Okay. Jess Lang, that's great. I checked it once, it's not graded, but no rush. Thank you. Okay. All right. So this didn't really, I'm going to have to kind of go back and do this again. I'm not happy with how the last one lined up. So gonna probably just move these over a little bit. And I can tend to be a little bit, I don't know, I guess picky about the way I want things to look. All right. All right, that's much better. I'm happier with that. So. right, so I've got my lines all around. Even with all that measuring, there are some variations within those lines, but it's a good kind of base start. So from there, I am going to get the stole down here. All right, I don't. So I'm going to keep playing with this, doing some different ideas. Take this. So is anybody coming back to school on Monday? Oh, I also wanted to say you could use a dull pencil to do your lines if you want. All right, so here's my little beginning design. If you guys can see that. So I'm going to continue to work through this. I'm actually going to stop this recording for right now.